You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we're covering the anime that aired the week of September the 23rd to September the 30th, 2023, with the solitary exception of Me and Roboco, episode 25, Flaming and Roboco, in which Roboco helps out an idol who is being flamed online on her social media. And thankfully, we know from previous episodes that Roboco is a social media expert.
Yep.
Since everything's going to shit on it, I did go back and watch that Twitter one. I was like, man, this is aged poorly because of decisions outside of Roboco, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think of the social aspects of it. This applies to any kind of mass form of communication and things like that. There's a certain thing you gotta follow, such as if you really want to freak out your haters, you follow them, like you give them a like back, because that lets them know that I'm watching them.
Or appear behind them in their houses like, oh, you want to start shit, fucker. Which Roboco has access to do, but most people don't. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure none of the writing in this is anyway reflecting the views of the author of the Me and Roboco comic and responses to their comic.
I think my favorite is Roboco's like conversations where she's conversating with her sock puppet account. Because they're always terrible conversations, but it makes it look like she's interacting with her fans, which is important.
Yeah. And also, there's visual puns of Roboco literally catching fire related to use of the word flaming. Otherwise, it's fairly slight, and I would say my least favorite of the episode so far. But it's
Probably
still...
doesn't apply as well to.
It works better written,
written like this, like except for Roboco getting set on fire. Like how we went all out that both times.
Then this week we start off with Canon Conan. It came around quicker than we were expecting. Detective Conan, episode 1098. It'll be soon into the 1100s. We've got Hagiwara Chihaya, Goddess of the Wind, Part 1. There is no mystery in this episode.
No, it's like that episode of Columbo where there hasn't been a murder, there's been a kidnapping, is basically the difference. So we're doing it different slightly.
Oh, it's taking this long. We're finally upending the formula. My goodness.
Yeah.
And we're out of Baker Town. We're in Kanagawa Prefecture.
We don't even have the same fucking cops to deal with. It's crazy.
Yeah,
everything's topsy-turvy.
Happening?
So it is Kokoro, Ran, and Sonoko have gone to a French gourmet restaurant.
The fancy French restaurant that it takes months apparently to fucking book a seat there.
Sonoko's family is so rich, and the owner of the head chef, so it's the head chef of the restaurant, is a fan of Kokoro's amazing detective abilities.
I fucking love that sleepy detective. He's fucking following all his shit. He's great. And it was supposed to be all the kids were supposed to be there as well, but most of them stayed home to eat curry because mostly because your one is afraid to show her face in public because it's her face but shrunk down, and there's a guy who very much so would like to murder her. So that's been catching her a little too often. So she's nervous about it. So she's gonna stay home with the other kids and eat curry. But Conan has come because he likes French cuisine. I don't know. It's not.
And more importantly, the person who's brought them and the reason why they're late is he's come with Agassa. Agassa is late because he was speeding and he was pulled over by a traffic cop, who I think gave him a warning. I think in the wiki it says in the manga he gets a ticket.
She gave him a ticket. Like she did give him a slip of paper.
Yes. And essentially, at the restaurants, there is some confusion because there's a guy who looks a little bit like Agassa. I like that he doesn't look exactly like Agassa.
No, he's a big fat old guy whose hair also forms pom-poms. Like it, yeah. His hair becomes like tiny what do you call that? Where it poofs out into balls. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got his hair tied back. Agassa doesn't have his hair tied back, but He's Nanjo, I think the guy's name. He's the president of this security company.
Because he comes up to greet your one. It's like, oh, hello, you're the heiress of the company. And she's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, oh, I'm wearing a mask because in the news there recently, I said like the only person who can break into my company's safes is me. So you'd have to steal me first. But now I probably shouldn't have said that on telly because they have these security guards walking around with me, and I can't go anywhere without them. It's ridiculous. And the two lads notice that they look like each other from the back in the bathroom mirror because they both go to the loo at the same time. It's like, you look just like me. And your man's like, no, I fucking don't. It's like, no. Put on my jacket, put on my hat, put on my mask. All right, see, you look exactly fucking like me.
And now I'll put your jacket on and I'll be able to sneak away from
Could you
this
do me a
fancy
favor?
restaurant.
Because, like, outside he's explained to Kogoro, it's just like, I would much prefer to go to like a titty bar than go to this fancy French restaurant, essentially, is the thing he's saying. And Kogoro's like, I fucking see you, man. Yeah, totally. But in this place, he's like, if you slip out dressed as me, then my security guards will follow you and I can fuck off to like the girly bar that I want to fucking go to. Which I appreciate, does not work on the security guards. They see him walking out and it's like, then your man comes out, it's like, what the fuck are you trying, sir? This is bullshit.
Yes. I like the fact that, it's both
professional conduct.
The security guards are competent.
Yes.
But the fact they are competent then puts Agasa's life in danger.
Well, technically, the guy put his life in danger because the less competent criminals who were in the Fancy French restaurant, how did they get tickets? We find that out later. But they're like, oh fuck, there he is. Let's kidnap him. We'll break into the safe we stole by stealing him, like he said to do on the telly.
Yes, and they shoot Agasa in the leg, which causes the rest of our cast to investigate. And they realize he's been kidnapped. Luckily, he's got a detective badge in his pocket, so Conan can trace it. So he follows on skateboard. Meanwhile, the cop who regularly shows up in these stories, who has a twin, his twin is a big fan of Kogoro. Jugo Yokomizo, however, voiced by Aki Otsuka, I believe they're both voiced by Aki Otsuka, cannot stand Kogoro. And I believe he refers to them as the Grim Reaper family and wants to know where the kid is who's normally with them.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not their fault, but they are there at the scene of a murder. And he's like, where's that little child? Because I need to keep track of all of you to find out where the murder is going to happen. But yeah, the kid's gone off ahead. He's getting in contact with the guy. As your man's bleeding out in the boot of a car, like, kind of going like, yeah, Conan, I'm in the boot of a car.
Oh, yes, because Kogoro, yes, because he doesn't show up until after they've chased after Conan in the car, because we get the bit where the dad tells Ran, you don't have to wait here and call the cops. You can get in the car and call the cops. We need to chase after Conan.
Yeah, this is a as happening crime. It's not sitting there murder that we can take our time to solve, basically. Yeah.
Yes, because basically they try and ram Conan off the road. He goes flying, and then he's saved by a self-same motorcycle cop who'd stopped Hiroshi Agasa.
And she does a very familiar move where she uses Conan's skateboard as like a ramp to ramp her fucking motorbike off, and then appear to grow angel wings to catch him in midair. God, I feel like I've seen that move before, but like in a Dodge Viper or something. I can't quite fucking remember what the fuck. Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's genetic. Doing car tricks is genetic to this family. Okay, got it.
Yes, and this is where we get the title, because Rand comments, like, if there was ever such thing as a goddess of wind in this world, I'm pretty sure they'd look like this traffic cop. He takes off a helmet.
I thought for a second it was going to be Conan, and it's like, holy shit, this lady's hot, but it's actually Rand who's like, holy shit, this lady's hot.
Yes.
Damn.
And also, throughout this episode, she acts incredibly nonplussed at all the reveals of Conan's gadgetry.
She's super cool under every fucking circumstance. Like, giving out, she was the one who gave the ticket initially. It's like, here's your ticket, sir. You're going to have to watch your speeding, especially with a young man in the car. And kind of like nods to the kid. And it's like, all right, time to snatch you out of the air. What's that? You have a two-way radio and a rocket skateboard. Well, that'll come in handy. I've called in another officer. Put on this helmet. You're going to help me solve this crime. You two go back to the fucking restaurant. I need this kid to solve the crime because he's got a tracker in his glasses, as he explained. I'm perfectly okay with all this technology that has been revealed to me for the purposes of catching the criminals.
Yeah. Because that's the other part with Hugo, where they're explaining to Hugo, he's like, okay, so the kid's off with the traffic cop. What's the traffic cop's name? And they tell him her name, and he's like, oh no.
She's a loose cannon, or she's going to solve it with motorbike tricks, I assume. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the sister of one of the dead cops from the police academy thing, who we see at the end of the police academy thing. I don't think in the comic you got to see her at the end of that. So that's why her face is a mystery in this adaptation, even though we've heard the voice and seen the face already. Yes, but they've got rid of the track. They found the tracking device, thrown it out. They've got rid of their fake license plates, but they do still have the description of the car.
Yeah, so they've no way of tracking the professor, but they're locking down the roads, but they've already gone off the freeway, and it's an ongoing crisis that they're dealing with. And I appreciate them. Remember I was saying the last day where they killed off all those cops in the police academy. And it's just like, oh, it's like our boy inherited like aspects of all of them, and he got that guy's car. It's just like, that's not really learning anything off him. It's like, don't worry, she inherited his bike tricks or car tricks, basically. So that's still going too. Good.
Yeah, and even at this late stage of the game, still introducing more characters.
That's what it needs. More characters.
I assume she'll only tend to show up in Kanagawa Prefecture cases. Unless she is somehow aware of things already, which is what I've got the suspicion about, that she's aware of meta plot elements already, just because of like how she takes everything in her stride.
Yeah, like if she was informed by God, what is his name? The dude who inherited all the stuff from the dead police academy.
Zero,
Zero. Like if she's in on Zero's plan, basically. Maybe he's informed her, like, hey, I knew your dead brother. You got to help me solve the crime. It could be.
Right, yeah. I've discovered things in cars. I've done a routine traffic stops that would like turn your hair white. So like rocket skates is no big bones to me.
It's very suspicious that this small child has a very sophisticated tracking device built into his glasses, and a two-way radio built into his glasses. He's like,
and a rocket skateboard. But the guy they're literally chasing is a crazy inventor. So I'm like, yeah, that makes it more plausible. Is he a well-known crazy inventor? He's pretty well known, right?
I guess to a degree.
He's been on telly a few times. So.
Yeah, so the drama is not really opening the safe. It's them discovering that Agasa isn't the guy they need to open the safe.
Because as soon as they discover he's not the guy, like, we can't. They tell the lads, go back to the restaurant and make sure your man doesn't come out publicly as like, no, I haven't been kidnapped. Because as soon as they find that out, they're going to fucking kill him and dump him in a fucking ditch. So it's like, we need to make them think it's the guy they're looking for as long as possible, because they won't kill him up to that point. Because I think they say it's like a retinal scan on the safe that's good for 5 hours after he dies or something.
Yes.
There's a real ticking clock, basically. Yeah.
You gotta get to the head that it's safe.
Yeah, the kidnappers are very much like a Bonnie and Clyde type. Do not care about human life.
I don't think they're going to be like, oh, what a tragic mistake we've made. We needed to open that safe to save the orphanage or something. It's just like, no, they're just criminals.
We just need the eyes. Much lighter.
Yeah,
and
much.
Just so you had a little something to put your brain to, there is the puzzle of, why is this number plate fake?
I thought Conan explained why the number plate was fake.
He does, but that's just your tiny. That's just your tiny bit of some sort of puzzle content in this episode.
Okay.
Is explaining that it's fake because it has the hiragana symbol for she on it, because that sounds like death. It never gets used on real car licenses. So these are really sloppy criminals who made
I guess you can make sure that license isn't taken. So,
maybe it's just a vanity plate.
Yeah, well, they literally like put it off and like move on in the motorway. So yeah,
like we're hardened criminals who put death on license plates. Sounds cool. This bit is tough. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of for this week. It will wrap up this week. Then we've got, talking of things sort of wrapping up, Zom 100, Episode 9, Treehouse of the Dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot this even came out.
Don't
I
worry about
kind of mentally kept going to the thing. Look, when it's all done, wherever it's all done, I think I'll finish it out then. Otherwise, I'm not really in the mood for its
Well,
antics
yeah.
now.
Yeah, you're not missing much. So essentially, they're trying to get to his parents' house so that he can apologize. He can tell his dad his real feelings about his dad, which that's the best bit of the episode is like how unimpressed his dad is once he does that.
Yeah. His dad's
Uh,
reaction is like, you know, it's a zombie apocalypse, right? You don't have to apologize for it not getting onto us in 3 years and us putting you through college. It's like we got bigger fucking problems right now.
but before they get to that, they've got to get there because someone's trapped a load of zombies in the one tunnel to the town. Which obviously, if you've watched any zombie fiction, you assume, oh, that's the people in the town have done that to keep the zombies out.
Well, also as we know from the the farmer anime we've been watching, farmers are good at driving big heavy equipment because there's a bunch of diggers and sand piles and that kind of stuff up and against it.
So they have to take a route through the forest where they meet a guy who is building a treehouse to live in to keep, and they save him from a zombie boar, and then they help him build his treehouse and have a jolly time in the treehouse, and then say, "Well, we really gotta go and see my parents. So ta-ta for now, but we know where to find you."
Like he's basically reminded in the build. Oh, I've always wanted to build a treehouse. It's like the dream of. I like the way their dream treehouse also is the treehouse that they make. They do make the slide, and I was just like, extra, going the extra mile.
And then your lad goes down naked on the slide,
Ruining
Ouch.
it, fucking ruining it immediately. Like he says, "Oh, great, your bare fucking ass was on that. Fantastic."
That's gonna hurt, man. The friction.
And before that, as they're driving towards the parents, he suggests that he's going to break the ice with his parents by taking all his clothes off.
Yeah, he's going like, I gotta make a good impression as the best friend. All right, my opener is I take all my clothes off. It's just like, why is that your good? It's not a good joke, but yeah, that's this show, I guess. But yeah, he's reminded while building the treehouse that the guy's like, "Hey, you have a family, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, my wife ate my son, and then I had to kill her, and now I'm building this treehouse. I had always thought I had more time with my son." And he's like, I should probably go visit my dad instead of helping you, a random stranger in the woods. But okay, we'll finish the treehouse first. And I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
To the village. It's like, oh my god, there's no one in the village. Are they all dead? No, they're having a party. They're cool. They're grand.
Yeah. They're cool. He gets back to work on the farm after his dad completely ignores his emotional thank you for putting him through college. And then we get to the real crux of the episode is that also in this village are the bizarro versions of our main characters.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the city slickers decided to hide out in this village because it was a penal colony, and besides this one tunnel, it's like an incredibly dangerous cliffside route to get to. So no zombies, we're doing okay. But a bunch of city people came in, and obviously a bunch of them were bait, but they got caught in the tunnel. They started fighting each other, so we walled them in. Probably should have killed them as well, but you walled them into the tunnel, so it's all safe. You're good. But there's some city slickers there who are a bit they got their own bucket list, basically.
Yes, they're the
What?
nihilist version of our crew.
Oh, they have a bucket list.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck this. Fuck everything.
Yeah, so our main guy is a guy who basically didn't want to fucking work and was like, society has rejected me and I reject society. All I do is sit around and smoke cigarettes and complain about society. And then when the zombie apocalypse happens, much like our main hero, he's like, oh, fantastic, society's ended. Woohoo! It's summer break forever. Well, just this summer break. We're probably going to die after this, but I'm going to make it as good as possible. Hey, you random other people I find hanging out in the cigarette shop that I'm robbing. You want to join me in my list? So instead of stuff like, I'm going to tell my boss off and quit my job, it's like, I'm going to set fire to my former workplace. That kind of shit.
Yeah, the problem with these four characters is not the main one. The main one is a pretty good, bizarre version.
He gets more depth in terms of like you get why he's acting like this. He's reasonable. The other three are just nothing.
We just needed three more then to round it out, and that was not how much thought went into them.
Yeah.
So I assume these guys aren't going to be around too long. It's not like we're going to be following them alongside these guys.
I mean, like their evil plan is like, oh, I always wanted to shoot a gun.
Yes.
So
Oh,
they're
and I
going to
think-
let the zombies out, and the zombies are presumably immediately going to kill them. Because why wouldn't they?
What did it get
The,
instead of Beatrix from French Jew with ennui or whatever?
I think it's just like three randos who happen to be hiding in the cigarette shop.
yes.
Uh,
Yeah. One
Like
of the, yeah. So
nothing. They're
basically,
nothing characters.
that
Like we get
nearly as fun. Come on, like
one
what
wants
would
to
you-
burn down her former workplace. Another guy wants to shove his tongue down a woman's throat.
and the other one
And
was to slap his wife.
what's beat his wife? Yeah. I knew I knew it was like what was uglier than that fucking second one, and I couldn't remember because I pushed it out of my head.
No, you gotta go full mirror. You gotta like for she's the car. She's like, no, she's always about night fun, trying to be careful, prepare for fun. I'm a reckless gambler, baby, fun. Read him and weep. You know,
See, that would have been
it's
smart.
pretty easy.
That
And
would have
then
been
like
smart. Now.
the other like best friend, no, he'd be like this complete bummer, rather than like kind of comedy guy, I think. Or maybe he's some kind I never knew. You know, there's like lots of ways you could go with this, but I thought it was in 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could easily do like the worst friend who like eggs you onto your own like worst impulses rather than the guy who supports you. It's like there's lots of ways you could have fucking went with it. You got to go and went with someone. I hate Japan. I'm glad it's dead. That would have been fine. And also, I'm from Italy. Why not? Fuck it.
The foreigner who came, they were thought it was some kind of like paradise for fucking introverted nerds like them.
They're disappointed by
they
it
don't
once they
got
go.
political for this in Japan. And then I came here and then it wasn't. I'm glad it's dead.
Yeah. That would have been smart. That would have been on a smarter show that this show is not. But yeah.
Or an actual stand-up comedian who's evil and bitter. Somebody who was a
like
success.
deadpan, sarcastic comments. Yeah.
There's so many clever things they could have done, but that's the problem we have with this show quite often. It's like,
Yes.
looks great. I wish you were better. I wish you were fucking better.
Yes, because I think the one they kept on focusing on is that he wants to blow something up with dynamite. So I assume he's going to get rid of. That's what he's going to do, and going to get rid of. Well, it seems to be he's going to get rid of the one which isn't going towards because they're currently at the opposite end, not the village end. So anyway, I don't care because I'm probably not going to watch any more episodes of this. So, but it's well made, but the original material seems lacking.
It had like it's played all its aces there in that first episode, and like I said back then, that could be its own little film unto itself. Like it has enough of like the zombie film cliches, so you can kind of pick up on it, but then it kind of doesn't really move past those cliches. It just kind of walks into them over and over again. So if you've seen a couple of these things, it's not going to be cute to you anymore.
And even the idea of it, like, we're in a zombie apocalypse. All the cliches are valid now. Like, that's how the world functions. Like, that's a fun idea. And it doesn't really, like, it's a fireman zombie, so he's an undead zombie. And he's shooting fire out of the hose. It's like, how is he shooting? Did he hook it up to a gas main? How did this happen? You put no thought into it. It's so close to being very clever. And it's really not.
But what does have a lot of thought put into it is Dark Gathering, episode 12, The Castle H Ruins, Danger Rank S. Split the title from last week. So, turns out Yuyoi's not dead. That's just Ghost tricking Kataro, which is almost about to be dead. But luckily, the little thimble she's got, and Kataro's screaming, reacts, wakes her up, and she just jabs the finger into the old lady ghost's head.
I do appreciate that his screaming and wailing and crying was actually useful for the situation. It's like, oh, I heard your mournful wails that I died, and that brought me out of my stupor.
Oh, what's really good about that, you have like the old lady ghost and then the disembodied hand. She gets back up at the jab in the eye, and then like the hand turns and like flinches. He's like, no, like, what the fuck are you looking at? It's like, I gotta go.
Both getting whipped. So they get whipped into
an extended fucking whipping scene. Yeah. Jesus.
They get whipped into submission until they're in little paper dolls, and she's ready to go to rescue Kataro, who's being dragged up to the top of. I don't think we mentioned the larger form of the ghost looked like last week, which is a headless pregnant woman.
I don't like that imagery, man. It's grossing me out. Like
they get one every episode that's really unsettled you. It's there's been that's fucking pretty solid going. I love it.
the entire feel that this spookiness is happening. It's like the Jujutsu Kaisen fucking, what do they call those?
The veils.
It's like a veil of that,
barrier.
but that's a bloated, pregnant, headless ghost fucking body that takes over a considerable portion of the forest. I was just like, I hate all of this.
Just realised I pasted the Conan title into the Jujutsu Kaisen slots.
It's
So
okay.
just-
I remember what it was called.
Okay, excellent.
It just happened to be the exact same title. I don't know how it is. Like, oh, it was really on the ball there. Like, I guess there's something in the water that week. They just, what sounds good. But something in the water, all right. It's ghosts is what it is. And like, it isn't just like, it's one of those kids there where, like, I just said before, it's kind of those like, spots where you're like, you die in there, I never make it out, you're trapped in there forever. But, there's got to be a way to kind of get out of it. And she's able to kind of hook back up with him. Because he's kind of like, the ghost version refers, I could bait on a hook, or is the hook is kind of pulling him up now into the kind of vein of it, because it seems to be composed of like all the previous victims, their spirits are being used to form this barrier around the place.
I did like the bit where, because the ghost is like, well, now you're full of despair, I can drag you and you can never leave. And then he's like, well, now I know this wasn't you, Yoi. I'm no longer full of despair. She can come and rescue me.
She'll have a plan.
Ah, dear.
She does.
Hmm.
Can't remember how she gets it down from the ring. Yeah, does he come down? No, because he's down before they release the.
I feel like she stabs through her ghostly self or something like visceral and horrible. She stabs through a lot of things in this. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's with the finger again. Because that'll be the second time, but the third time is when it goes down Katara's throat.
See, that's the worst part. It's bad enough that she jams a finger puppet down your fucking throat to specifically make his gag reflex go. But it's been in two ghosts like not very long ago, like as well. It's just like it's not even like washed or anything, It's like, gee, it's just nasty. So blah.
Yeah, well, that's forced our hand off on team. We got fucking like get our way out of here. We got bust out, and this is a pretty fucking bad ghost we're dealing with. So I had to fun play the ace on this one, and I'll find summon this dude out. It's a fucking evil priesthood of the Demon Sutra, of the evil tongue.
Yeah, because the headless, the separated head ghost appears above the lake below the waterfall, and the other. What we later found out aren't separate ghosts, but parts of it sort of start forming into it to make it form the body so it can take on the priest. But the priest chants a sutra that kills you whether you're alive or dead. So she's like, hey, put on some cool tunes, Katara, because you're going to want these noise cancelling earphones, because do not fucking listen to this guy. It will kill you. And it starts killing random birds and snakes and stuff that are just happen to be in the woods.
And then it becomes Pokemon battle. And it really is like, but that's where we get a sense of it. This is a very macabre version of like, we gotta gather the most powerful monsters and play them against each other. Go, evil priest, chant evil sutra.
Evil sutra kills all Pokemon. It's like, headless fucking ghost. Chop off his fucking head so he can't fucking talk. Head chops off. He's still singing. He's like, chop off his jaw. It's like, okay, now he's possessing all the fucking dead animals that he has murdered and he's chanting through like a dead crow's foaming mouth. And it's just like,
I like how this plays out. There's no like running commentary, like pretty much from like Yayoi and Kato. It's just like it's just like going. Well. It's just like they're figuring it out. Like, this fucking this guy can answer everything, doesn't he?
And I was thinking how weird it must be for them, because they're not even hearing the horrific ghost noises. They just got their Spotify on like full blast, and just like, this is a fuck situation right now. But
yeah, because he does the animals, then she starts slicing the animals, then he starts using the ghosts to do the chant. And eventually they have to chase. So she runs away. They chase after her, and eventually she ends up doing the chant herself.
It's coming out of her own mouth, and it's just like, oh, it's kind of fucked now.
Yeah, you got a choice. You can be destroyed, or you can get in the bear, get in the rabbits.
Yeah,
So,
it's presented as just like, you want to die or you want to fucking work for me, but like just that fucking thing straight away. And the ghost is kind of like, fucking son of a bitch. All right, fair
I
enough.
won't forget what you've done to me. Urgh.
And then the priest doesn't fucking turn off.
Damn it, we just left him on.
And Katara's like, we did it. Oh no, I'm chanting the evil sutra now. Shit. So that's where he gets jabbed down the fucking throat, so he can't talk. And she's like, all right, Kataro, you got, I think it'll take like, what was it, 30 seconds or something like that?
20.
20 seconds to seal him away again. Because I can't do it because I got my hand jabbed down. Ready and go.
It's like fun, like disarming a bomb.
Yeah.
Just fun. Let's work that in as well. We gotta get what kind of like genre things in here. Can we do a ghost version of that? We fucking can, and it's pretty good.
The little ticking clock, and it gets it wrapped up, and then it starts chanting again. The clock starts ticking again, and I was just like, oh, that's fucking, yeah, it's fun stuff.
You know,
While he has a little girl's arm jabbed down his throat.
You know, you could have like, kept your headphones on while like I was doing that. Doesn't know if you to die as well. No way, dude. Fucking in this to the end, ride or die. We're in it. It's like, oh, she's tough. She's pretty tough. Oh, it's no. I knew you could do it, man. Because you're my partner.
But then it's like the mystery Columbo thing. It's like, it didn't make sense though, because the ghost was trying to make me never forget how they died there. So why exactly were they trying to kill me? It's almost as if there was a different ghostly thing attached to it. This haunted hand that I found behind the waterfall. That's probably what was corrupting it. I'll put that away, and the ghost
follows
will be...
the aura. Yes, and they cut the aura, and yeah, it's then you get the explanation. Yeah, somebody had placed an evil talisman to make this ghost evil, as opposed to just make
remember how I died, basically. Yeah. Which is difficult to do if it kills you at the same time.
Yeah, so now we got the possibility that there's other people messing with ghosts, not just Yayoi.
And they might have been doing the same thing as her, of powering this fucking thing up. Because as Yayoi kind of says, it's like, oh, those other parts that we captured, those were like aspects of it. It was actually just one woman who cut her throat and jumped off the waterfall, not a whole slew of them. She's just been separating herself, like, you know, the way God is in every church. It's like that. I think it's basically.
I think all those women, and children went in there. She's just like the manifestation, pretty much, of their
of one ghost
of despair and sadness.
That's trying to represent everyone, basically.
Yeah.
Also, the old lady ghost is an entirely separate ghost who just ended up getting roped into this.
No, that is a different ghost who's just like, oh, a ghost more powerful than me. I will feed it ghosts. Fantastic.
I assume it was also a talisman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bury her in the bear. They say goodbye. She gives them some of her shawl to call her if they ever need her, and they like, okay, thanks. They both thank each other, and then when they get home, Yayoi is like completely merciless. Is like, oh great, we got that ghost outside now. We can throw her split ghosts as shields in front of ourselves when we have to fight more powerful ghosts.
We gotta be practical, like in your Pokemon team, you need like a variety of types and abilities, so you gotta be prepared for any situation.
And Eiko is jealous that they got to go on such a scary adventure and she wasn't there.
It's kind of an off-road thing, and you're the wheel woman, so it didn't come up in this case. Sorry.
Yeah.
You'll get to go next time.
And Kotaro's usefulness is both him screaming and crying and blubbering like a baby, and also I love her standard weaknesses. Oh no, the ghost ran off into the woods. I can only see ghosts. I can't see in the dark. So I can't see where she ran to. Kataro's like, I can sense where the ghost is because it's the place I least want to go. Follow me. So he is useful to have, which is good.
Yeah. And the preview seems to suggest there might be hints at like other people who aren't ghosts next episode, as they go to investigate a spooky tunnel again.
Another S-rank one. Like immediately.
Yes.
That's her kind of thing, is like, oh, we'll tell you how spooky it was, but don't worry, we're going to one just as bad.
We're going to show you. It's faster.
Then we got Helk, episode 10, The Spirit of Faith, which we check back in at the Dragon Empire people defending those two castles from the heroes.
I love
Sounds
presenting
pretty
it
good.
like as a video game thing from the point of view of the demons, the monsters, and they're just like, oh, here they are again. All right, and they're like, I'll beat you this time. It's like, no, you won't. And he's like, I'm just gonna come back again. He's like, yeah, I know. It's like if Souls, like you just keep coming back. All right, fair
You're
enough.
grinding, but thing is though, we're going to up at the same time we're fighting the. We got our kind of Kinnikuman Man style fucking the dudes in there, like the Cerberus guy and the Rabbit Man.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that he was a
Dog
dog man with
hands.
dogs for
He had
hands.
little dog glove puppets on his hands. Man, I fucking love it because they're just like, oh, damn that weird dog guy. He keeps killing me again.
For the Guitar Ridge Obama dude, that's a good bit. You gotta take that.
Yes, it's Rubero and Reripus, the rabbit man.
Mm.
Who I guess I now need to add to my rabbit panel that I'm planning for next year.
Yeah.
If he gets much more, it seems like a guy who's just gonna be there. I think to me like just like a bunch of like here's a couple of weirdos who kind of background characters here, and they seem to be having a lot of fun with this. It's like check it out, got a Bellscar. Oh, it's badass, man. You gotta show that off.
The guys kind of higher up are just like, yeah, they're putting on a good face, but they're kind of like, they are slowly getting better. Those pseudo heroes, aren't they?
Yeah,
but
I noticed Ken Ross and Darushi aren't here, so I assume they're the scouting party who they assume are going to run into Vermikins, as Adora calls her.
She's on the map though. So it means she's like, she's still alive. It's like, oh, she's been doing this all the time because it's just a list thing. But he's probably doing it to ease his own like worries about where she might be.
Yeah, your man like taking the piss out of him is like, he keeps checking this every day. He uses up a shitload of his magic power, but he won't fucking do it. I said you could do it every second day because it's not like she's going very fast or anything. But he's like, nope, gotta check every day. But she is finally on the continent, which is nice.
She's on Hulk, and it seems pretty all right. So he's going to come back with him because he trusts him, and come back without him because he doesn't trust him. I'm going to just go with it now. But maybe it's going to be all right because there's a lot of jerks in the human world and the demon world, but most people just are smart to sit down and get on with things. Because it wasn't always this this complicated. It could have been a lot more simple than this. Old friend, what's that, sir? Nothing. Just having a little reminiscence there to remind me, a little reverie.
And your man kind of being like, I'd be happy if Hulk came back actually, because he's quite a powerful ally. If he came back to ally with us, and you're one with the Carriers, like, wait, Vermilion and Hulk are going on like a journey together. It's like, shit, that's like romantic as fuck. That's a bad news for our blue boy.
Just rippling muscles. Oh, how could she resist?
I got the feeling it was more bad news for her than
that too. I mean, like, yeah, she's not in with a shot either. Yeah.
Damn it.
Go
turn her straight.
And meanwhile, Aster is spying on the heroes, who reveal that winning this battle is not their current aim. So why the hell are these two constantly arguing with each other about losing to the people who they keep on fighting?
I think it's frustrating when you lose against the dog-faced man with little dog hand puppets that is kicking your ass every fucking time.
Oh, we're truly badass, like edgy angels. Like, we should be the fucking winners all the time, not fucking Rabbit Man over there. What's happening with that?
I've just come up with it now. Like, they keep losing to Dogrick the Grafted, and it's just really frustrating. It's just like, I gotta beat this motherfucker with his dog fucking hands.
Oh, it's so stupid. Well, it's okay, man. You're just doing the grind for now. Wait until the Pope, the Human King, says otherwise.
Slowly level up. That's the plan.
Check back in on Vanillo and Helk. They're camping, and Helk's going to come clean about what's going on in the human empire before we get back there. Credits run. You look at the timer, and you're like, God, there's a lot of time left. What are we going to get? Well, we're going to get Pee-wee's spin-off story after the credits.
Finally, the star of the show gets his own segment.
As we go back to the town they were in before, and Pee-wee picks up a journal. Travel?
Like a travel journal from the narrator, who was a character all this time.
My God.
The narrator is one of those weird hippo men in that hippo town that they were in. It was mostly hippos, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was mostly hippos, yeah.
There's all sorts of animals.
Various Dragon Quest looking weirdos.
Yeah.
The Yeah, there's lots of people in this town who will just stop and say something about the location you're in.
It's so like tabletop thing. It's like, did you know the reason the marketplace is this big is because a great bird was felled here and it was felt cursed, and so they left it open. So it eventually became the market. And they're like, wow, thanks for the history lesson, random stranger. He's like, no problem, and he just walks the fuck away. It's like, wait, a lot of people do a bunch of exposition in this town. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of people behaving like an RPG character and Vermillo getting mad at them because they are.
Pee-wee starts a dance contest.
Yeah,
That's
they buy
pretty
some
good.
funny hats. They get a discount because their dancing was so good, and they get to stay in the fanciest hotel in town.
For cheap, because everything else in town is really expensive.
And the discount is far too excessive. They couldn't afford a camel, and they didn't buy the dog they were offered instead of the camel.
The dog was also pretty expensive, but not useful. Very cute, though.
No, it was very cheap compared. The camels were like 10,000, whatever their currency is, and the dog was 200. So it just seemed like they wanted to get rid of the dog.
I am a camel salesman.
Price to
it's
move.
weird that I have a dog.
Yeah, this was a lot
adventure.
of fun. I don't know how much more there is of this. Whether this is going to be a regular occurrence, or whether it's just something because they wanted the big reveal to start at the next core when the theme tune changes next week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I'm fine with it anyway, because this is finished, they can take as long as they need to do it and do it quite comfortably. Yeah.
Yeah, just wish it looked a little smarter.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's still fun, but yeah, that is
fun,
the downside.
So I got in this cartoon, says the production team. We got like these like, you know, the demons that are kind of we can punch it out and fighting, like, you know, these flying angel guys. Lots of them, yes, lots of them. Okay, fantastic! I'm gonna get people up a sheet of those right now and let's go. Woo.
Yeah,
just
but
make
like
an angel brush.
just copy paste it. But unlike Zom 100, I feel no need to drop this, you know, that kind of way. I'm just like, Zom 100 is like, I want you to be better. Whereas this is just like, I wish you looked a little better, but you're grand. Keep going as you do.
I would certainly be interested in just like picking it up in some form to have just to read over probably again, because it's the story is just there. And while there's like, you know, game-ish things like, oh, there's like levels and there's just like, you know, as you say, the guy walks, and that's more for a comedy thing.
Yeah,
it's probably because, like, you know, well, if you see a lot of those things like in fantasy video games, but also with things in fantasy other stuff like in books and things like that. So it's just like kind of the way they're approaching it. Again, it's just probably just sort of being beaten down by scene. The only fancy thing you're going to get is going to be like a video game ripoff, or you're trapped in the game, you die in the game, like etc. etc.
Yeah,
this is just kind of being a fantasy yoke, and it's feels just a bit more refreshing for being as like, old fashioned as it is.
Unlike Zom 100, this thing is again a world that it's entirely aware of the tropes of the genre. They will literally say the power levels or the level of the characters. It's like, hey, this weird dog man, he's level 43, so watch out. That kind of thing. I'm just like,
yeah, but they've had fucking fighting powers since Dragon Ball, so, you know, and that just turned to be meaningless in the end. Same with Hunter x Hunter, the fun. That went 2 numbers as well, and doesn't not be meaningless also, so I wouldn't worry about it. Not worrying about it in this case, because it doesn't seem to be interested in trying to be too reverent or precious about those rules, about what the hero does, for example.
Being like max level, basically, so it doesn't really care. Yeah.
Then we got Undead Girl Murder Farce, episode 13, The Culprit's Name, in which we learn who did it. Who did it? The victim did it.
But she's dead.
Fantastic reveal.
It's very well put together, because it was kind of like partially like, and the extra reveal at the end was partially what I was thinking. It was like, it's just like a rescue operation. It feels kind of like a rescue, and it was half that, but there was a lot of other complications as well.
It is like addressed upon like part of the solution or the revelation was just bugging me. It's just like, well, there's got to be something to do because these girls are getting murdered. You know, they just have this, like, you know, besides being of a similar age or that down, all some just kind of look like each other. So I thought, is there something to do with
and
that?
It's on a schedule as well.
And I thought, like, you know, as well, because it's happened in both villages. Watch some kind of like baby switch at some point, and this is what it's all going back to. And that was like, I was right, but I was only half right, and that's the way it's still, like, no. Even if I figured it out most of the way, it still has some things in there I never ever was ever going to consider.
Yeah. So first we got to resolve all the fights, which they're resolved pretty quick. That's not so bad. to do.
Bye, Kyle.
You're one shooting the Aleister Crowley. I was going to say the magician, and the body slumps over. I was like, "That's not him! Come on, you know that's not him." And she's like, "Ha ha ha! I've shot him. He's totally dead."
Come
Fucking
on, you're a
idiot.
cowboy. You haven't seen that trick where they put the hat on the rock and you shoot it off? Like, come on. You've been coming out of the wrong movie or book anyway.
I did like the fact that Crowley like started shooting her hat with his little darts once he knocked it off, and she's like, "God damn it, my whole fucking thing!" But you're dead, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah, Jesus, fun racking up the body count in those Royce guys.
So,
Yeah.
I don't think they're important the way they're fucking dropping like flies.
We just need like just these very like morally unbending like goons kind of to pad out the cast, and and the banquet and or Sugaru just mess up.
The battle between Frankenstein and the chain guy is kind of interrupted by Sugaru. I love Frankenstein's solution to being chained up is like, I'll rip off one of my fucking arms and throw it at you. It's like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Frankenstein, buddy, what's up? How are you? Get that diamond? You said to give it back. Yeah, you know I would. You know I'm not good for it.
I mean,
Anyways,
like you paid me back by saving me there, so I'll do you solid. Our base is in London. All right, okay, there you go.
body's there, hasn't been cut up as far as I know. So hey, well, I might see you there. Yeah, sure, I'll see you there. What? Are you grand? Yeah, I'm grand. I'm grand. Don't mind me. I'm grand. This is Frankenstein. You're a real sound chap, I gotta say.
he is definitely seems more reasonable of any of the other people because we see that Shizuku is still under the spell somewhat of Carmilla from being bitten by her previously.
Carmilla's like, don't worry, I don't turn people lesbian as much the second time round. And she's like, yeah, but I'm already like super lesbian. Nah, shit.
Let's have a lesbian fight.
I'll throw lesbians at you.
Pretty much. It's what happens.
Whoops, gotta go.
See, the way I say it, it sounds really seedy. It's actually very artistically done because they all have like trailing like plots and stuff that they're attached to, and I was like,
oh, it's totally like the classy vampire film. I think about that bit when Keanu Reeves is getting seduced by the vampire babes and
with the silks and everything. Yeah, very similar kind of vibe.
It's cool.
Yeah, because her harem is in whatever hut the werewolves use to store all their.
I presume it's in like the sewing hut or something like that. Like because it seems to have all the rolls of cloth that they wear. Yeah,
and the fight involves those reels shooting out of the hut all over the place. Yeah, as you say, it's the best looking fight, probably the entire series in terms of choreography and effects.
But it is Camilla kind of going like, it's just like, all right, you're not gonna get me this time. I'll catch you next time. Woo! And like she basically does like a thing with the vampire thing with the silks, not a big black vampire cape, but I was just like, she does the vampire billowing out the cape and disappears. Which I was like, okay, I'm fine with you doing that because that is promise of more shit like this because this looked great.
Yeah. Then we get to who did it? Well, yes,
fight you all in the drawing room, or in this case, the big bonfire in the middle of the village.
Yes.
Humans and werewolves, stop fighting. I, a decapitated head, will reveal the mystery. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're in the middle of a war right now. It's like, no. I know who done it.
Yes, it was Nora.
AKA Ute.
AKA, wait, what was her original name? Was her original name Nora? She had like 3 names.
No, she was Ute, who was the golden child, the daughter of the werewolf that burned up. Well, I thought they burned up anyway. She's also Nora of the werewolf village, and also Louise of the human village. My goodness, triple identity.
That's Louise. That was who was marking in the cave in the tunnel before. And the
like
pair
of them I didn't notice that the markings of the days were at a height that someone who has an inability to use her legs would be able to fucking reach.
I just naturally thought it's in like the bedding, so you just kind of you sit up that day and you mark it off.
Yeah,
Thought,
yeah.
okay, there's
Same.
no reason I wouldn't go when we go all the way up the wall, right? But no.
But why would you keep going across? Like they said, it's like the caves are really high. Why would you not like count up?
And
Why
why
do you
would
keep
you
crossing
also
across
Aren't that
And also-
tall?
write probation on it as well?
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
she's considering herself being punished for getting Nora's mum killed.
So Louise basically like looked at it as just like, all right, I needed to prove myself useful, for I was left in the woods again by my parents, and this time they let it stick. But I do feel bad that I got this girl's mother, or werewolf mother, killed. The mother apparently grabbed a nearby passing fox to pretend to be the werewolf child, where she escaped in the tunnel in the lighthouse, or the whatever it was, windmill beforehand. And so basically the other girl is like, all right, I look mostly like you, so I'm going to pretend to be you, and also I'm going to pretend to be a completely different werewolf than the werewolf I am, and I'm going to live in both villages at the same time,
Yes.
basically.
And to punish both the villages for what they did to me and my mum. But then, as we learned right at the end, after she escapes and they capture her and then let her go again, also because the werewolf village are a bunch of terrible eugenicists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the implied thing of they're looking for, what was it, the Uberwolf or something like that. Overmensch. I don't fucking know, but fucking, I don't know. They've got
The
a word.
super wolf.
They've got the most Nazi sounding word for best werewolf that I've ever fucking heard. Yeah, so they're trying to do that. And it's clear, like, hey, at 13, you get one of these little fucking necklaces. What does that mean? That means you're breeding stock, as the thing they've been implying this entire fucking time. And when they've established that a bunch of them are lesbians, that's really bad. That's a real fucking jerk move.
Yeah, so that's the final reveal, is that she'd been using the dead, which is what she did with Louise as well.
Her plan is
just
what she did with Louise is, all right, Louise, I'm going to kill you in this cave, present you as dead Louise to the village, and the village is going to be like, and the doctor's going to do the thing that he's done with every other girl of, oh, look, I can identify her because I helped birth every child in this village. That's definitely Louise's corpse. And then you drag the corpse back into the werewolf village, and then you shoot it with a gun, and it's just like, aha, the werewolves are like, that's one of our werewolves that fucking totally died and wasn't allowed to escape the sex slavery fucking cult that we basically live in.
Yes, because that's where she'd been last episode digging up the grave. So what they found in the grave was nothing.
Because every time she had to use the corpse twice, which in this case she used of Louise to make it look like herself, but before she was using the human girls to let the werewolf girls escape, and using the human girls' corpses as insert werewolf corpse, like, but let that little girl werewolf get the fuck away. And she was trying to do as many of these as she could before she came of age. What was it, like 13 or 14 or something?
Yeah.
Far too fucking young, anyway. Yeah.
And also, she probably is the wolf they were looking for, and so she definitely needs to leave herself.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. She's trying to get as many girls out before she has to engage in the fucking thing herself. Yeah.
So after they've chained her up, they let her go again, because they're like, yeah, I'm a fool of a detective. I didn't figure that part out myself. So
And even
I
like
made a
the thing
mistake,
of like,
so you're not under arrest.
she's like, your man's waiting there with the chains from the chain guy's like, I brought his chains, and it's like, now I'm going to chain you up. And she's like, I'm going to turn into a werewolf, howl, knock out all the lights, and kick your ass. And he's like, no, I'm going to kick your ass and tie you up. And Yuan's like, no, I made a slight mistake, and therefore I should let you go. That's legal. That's how the law works. I don't know. I don't make the rules. And what was the thing I liked, that I find myself having sympathy with women in cages.
Yes,
from recent
yeah.
life, which was nice. Like I did like that, and even them kind of pointing out, I was like, hey, Master, you took a long time to solve it this time. Was it, you weren't just like letting them murder each other for a bit, were you? And she's like, what? No, what? No way.
Yeah, it's an interesting display of the different moralities that are on
Yes.
display here. Like, because it's on the one hand that what it did, like, I think that probably is, it wouldn't be the law, but sure, what law are they following here? Like, leave that to Royce and them to get killed over if they're so high up on that. Like,
what's the right thing to do here? Yeah.
well, also as well as that, the right thing to do is also be the right thing for themselves or for that. Now, they may not also like factor in any kind of what we would call human ethics. If I'm saying these don't apply in this case, we're talking about fucking things beyond mortal ken here. So we might do things that you would consider barbaric or atrocious, but
yeah,
in our eyes, it's the right thing to do. And maybe this is like the price for your transgressions.
So this is a girl werewolf who's getting revenge for her mother's unjust killing. Okay, that's kind of like middling. That balances it out. And she's killing human girls. But for every human girl she kills, she frees a werewolf girl from sex slavery. Balances out. It's difficult. It's a fucking ugly situation, basically. Yeah. So there's no good thing. I did like the other unrelated thing. Shizuku's lack of underwear does come up in the Carmilla fight.
It does come up as it's a very important plot point. You were wondering last week why she
I knew it would come up. I knew it would be important.
Like, haha, I knew it. I knew you were to be. Like, no. They got wet. No, they were trying.
And then the last thing is, while they're in the mountains, Suguru always wanted to do the thing they do in these mountains, and that's yodel. And then he does such a good yodel that all the other characters from the show hear him yodel. Even
all
if
the way to London, because Europe is very small, as we know.
So that next book we finished any day now.
Fortunately, we need the next 3 books, I think.
To do a show. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Still, it was a fucking delight. Like,
no, it was just quality. Again, it's when we say book, we mean a real book, not any of those other books you might have heard of, like you might have heard of being used for fucking material these days. Or actual books someone put some actual fucking brains into. And drawing on the kind of literary greats itself, it's like keep that tradition alive as well. And it's just some fun pulpy as fuck shit. That's really good. I see it go out the same kind of time as Bungo Stray Dogs, and it's like now taking a different tackle, but also being a very pulpy kind of like it's got some from brains to it too, but also it's just like this is like an action thriller stuff like this, and it's like we're a murder mystery, but also Sugaru's gonna boot the shit out the fucking main villain of the thing at the end of the arc, so you can just look forward to that.
I also I don't see it often enough where they establish that monsters and ghosts and ghouls are a thing that exist in the world, and everyone's just like, oh, they creep me the fuck out. But yeah, I know vampires are real. Yeah, that's never a shocking thing. Like Sherlock Holmes goes, oh, you're the severed head I've been hearing about. That kind of fucking thing. It's like that's good. There's less dicking about to do, and then you can have more fun with the actual interactions between your fictional characters and classical fictional characters.
Yeah. Think of it like a fucking Concrete Revolution. All fictional characters are real all at once at the same time.
It's fun.
Then you can tell me all about Jujutsu Kaisen episode 34.
Pandemonium. Yep. Itadori got up on the roof there and shout out to everybody. Hey, Goda's been sealed. Yo, Nana, man, you're out there. It's like, oh, fuck. And they're all about to kind of break in and go for and saying, okay, gotta make our move by one and fall behind too far. And say, Goda's been sealed. Change of plans. Okay, we gotta rethink this whole shit.
He gets the idea from this because an earphone has appeared on his ear. It is the last vestiges of Mekamaru.
Yeah.
Who's in
well, he's dead.
Earpod form, I guess. Yeah.
And in the event of my death, these like little devices I made, which I put in 3 places, are a time to go off. So
yeah, I timed them to go off after he's been sealed because that very specific binding thing meant that I could get this information across. Like, because if he didn't get sealed, fantastic, everything worked out. If he does get sealed, everyone's gonna need to know.
I put it on YouTube because he seemed like he'd be the most trusting fool, and he's only been in this
He's
game
too stupid
for
to use the
now.
information maliciously, basically. Yeah.
He couldn't be a leak, so he's going to get him out there with this. It's also placed one on the subway platform that they
that thing is going to happen.
Gojo in like that, and he's also kind of monitored that and it's getting the word out. Gojo gets his like last dig in there though. It's just like hey man, fun Suguru, any fun sick of one carrying this guy around. It's just like, and then the hand starts going up and saying, "Whoa, okay, easy, buddy, whoa." Hey Mahito, check it out. You thought one the chicken and egg was a body or soul that came first, but one looks like body is one big thing. One said, I don't know, it's.
I did like his thing. It was just
this.
like, what if all our curse techniques are correct for our worldview? What if the universe is different based off how we interpret it? And I was like, that's deep, man. All right, Gojo, bye bye. See you later. Hopefully never.
Oh, he's still fucking rattling around in there because like it's just they can't even get it off the floor now. It's just fun sinks into a creative one and saying, "Fuck it, he's not fun. Calm down just yet."
So yeah, he's enacted super gravity on himself, so they can't move him from the station. They're like, all right, what are we gonna do? It's like, okay, we gotta kill Yuji Itadori because
no, we can't kill him. He's Sukuna.
No, I want that guy alive. He's Sukuna, and that's his guy's like, I also want to kill him, and it's just like, all right, let's race.
Outvoted.
Ready, go.
Look, Gojo's gone. Like Sukuna was gonna be your guy to take out Gojo, but Gojo's in the box right now. So we're good enough for this. Come on, we don't need this. Well, it'll be fun. No, we go.
Your man's like the guy, the blood guy is basically
yeah.
like, I want to kill him because he killed my two brothers, or he sealed my two brothers. But the other
they're
guy's like, I just want to kill him now because we don't need Sukuna because at right now they're all here, we're all here, and we're at like an even power level. So we could probably take him out right now. So we don't need him. So let's kill him first, and then kill all the rest of the fucking Jujutsu sorcerers. It's the perfect plan.
Okay, and break. And get up ones on or the man one claiming to be get up ones. I'm gonna stay right here. And the two followers from the cult one saying, "Give it back his body. Give it back his body." Fun say, "You sure you want to mess with me right now? Do you see what has happened right here? I'm not fucking you made a deal with the sorcerer, and the sorcerers are all con artists.
You made me promise to give back his body. You didn't make it a binding seal. Like that's the thing. Then I would have had to do it. And they're like, okay.
You will get you for this. You'll regret this one. Saying regret. What do I feel like again? I don't know. Oh boy. So we got fucking the guys and all the guys in right now. And it's kind of obviously I'll read in the comic, and this is kind of part of this long in the rear view. But it's like, oh, we're like wheeling out all like the dudes who haven't seen it. That's throwing Nanamis, and there's and pandas in there, and Jesus, like also forgot the old is a patriarchal the Zedin clan, that the guy with the pointy mustaches. One saying you got your Joji Nakata performance in there. Fun said, oh, I forgot about that dude. He's Joji Nakata. He's got that we would like that fun camera power. It's gonna be a fun one to mess around with when they get to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see in motion. And also he's with the two girls who he's hard drinking bit and being like a bastard, and they're just like, oh Jesus, gross old man, which is like the perfect pairing to have him with. Yeah.
So they're now they're all fun going hit right into the lines. Then fun saying they're going through that they fail now. We're sorcerers get in, but they can't get out. Okay, we're in the shit now. We'll go to team, and the fun who's like the enemy's little subordinate there. Is that fun saying, okay, like what's the plan? And he's about to go. The pushy girl was always jumping in, just like okay, you say the thing, and then boss, you say the thing as well. Then finally has a chance, and then fun saying, I'm gonna go take care of this. You fun, you fun mind the two lads through and fun like go take care of business. Fun saying, all right, now I'm the senpai right here. Here's what we're gonna do. He just finally get this moment to be the big
and
man.
If he's not being interrupted, he's just hanging in the background. At one point in this episode, he's just petting a stray cat that he sees. He's like, "Ooh, a cat!" Because I keep getting interrupted. I might as well have a bit of fun. But he's so excited to be that his boss trusts him to be the boss in this situation to the two juniors. But he's not an important character because he's the guy with the floppy hat.
But he believes, man, we gotta do this because otherwise it's going to mean the downfall of human and sorcerer civilization as we know it. So we got to rescue Satoru Gojo. Okay, team. All the kind of the all the kind of different kind of from boxes in from me. Let's all go save him. I'm sure this will go very well for all of them.
The episode is not named Pandemonium for nothing. It's just like, no, all hell's going to break loose, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's again been fun coming back to this arc again. So I've kind of forgotten some of the twists that it take. And I forgot. Oh yeah, Dagon is there, like the water curse who
hasn't done anything. Just showed up. Yeah.
But there's a whole little fun battle with him, which involves the old man sitting with the camera power. It's like, okay, yeah, I forgot entirely about that confrontation. There's just the big ones in there with Choso and Itadori just busting each other in the men's toilets. Not what it sounds like. But I probably just kind of watched it well, just the kind of right time earlier this evening when the light was kind of getting like dim outside. I had the nice kind of light colored like lamp on the kitchen front saying, "Oh, it's like yes, it is October. This does feel like and this is transpiring now on Halloween. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm getting into the mood for this right now. I'm getting into the spirit of things. It's pretty good."
Yeah, I was thinking like Dark Gathering and this are kind of like the more Halloween-y themed things. Because Dark Gathering being spooky, but this is just because it's happening Halloween. A bunch of monsters are going to start beating the shit out of each other.
Dark Gathering is keeping on for another set, isn't it?
It is that it'd help carrying on.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
good. Yeah,
And
because
Jujutsu I said, yeah, those
yeah,
three.
because it'd be good to have because this is like one of those times where this is actually seasonally appropriate viewing right now. They got the timing down pretty well. Maybe there was always a plan, and fucking have a big like climax in this fucking Shibuya incident on Halloween night and Halloween weekend, perhaps. There's also another bit I forgot about that. That I won't say it right now in case anybody is keeping up with the TV show only. But there's another bit that sends it all completely out of control, and that should be fun to fucking get hit with again. Yeah.
I mean, like like I said, the comic is kind of annoying me lately, but like this is definitely like one of the higher points of the story that like a lot of fucking crazy shit is happening in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like seeing all these characters again before they get completely messed up.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And then finally, we've got Ikemoto-san episode 12, which might be the final episode, but the director says he feels like it will come back.
Sure.
Because
it's the final one of this little set anyway.
Yes. Morning, in which everyone wakes up, salutes the sun, and we get the full version of the ending theme.
Yeah, the ending theme playing over the show kind of thing, but in a nice way. And it's just like, oh, everyone's praising the sun, I guess, in exactly the same way.
Well, Law's kind of just fun crawling out of bed. In the turtle's case, you're just like fun oozing out of your shell, or if you're like the hermit crab, you're fun just hopping out of that, or if you're the fucking oysters or mussels, you're kind of getting up out of there as well. I kind of like that. Alongside, like you've had those moments where you're just like, oh man, I gotta get up and do stuff now. You just sort of like melt out of the bed yourself. You just kind of upright mostly, and you kind of are sliming forward to the bathroom.
And to see that physicality done with like human and inhuman bodies in various ways, yeah, it's fun.
And then the two of them are roofing, and the dog is kind of messing around with that. And then, like, he's getting into his shell right now, which is being ensconced inside the dog. And it's like,
yeah.
They have a good time. It's Popeye's being up on the roof with that, like, this had a very kind of like newspaper comic strip, like Calvin and Hobbes or Peanuts kind of vibe.
Yeah. Except like weird body horror sometimes, in a way that's weird but fun.
And apparently something called Ikemoto-san's Special Edition is coming soon.
Film compilation.
Finally, we learned the story behind the pants.
17% new footage.
And that's it for this week. But next week, the new stuff has begun.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know what you've watched yet of the new stuff.
Nothing yet. Nothing just yet. I'm kind of keeping my powder dry because Undead Unluck is on Friday, and I thought that's the one I'm most looking forward to, perhaps. So I want that to be a good open.
Okay.
The only thing I have seen some of is Shangri-La Frontier, which it reminds me of Zombie 100 in that it looks absolutely fantastic, but it's not as funny as it thinks it is. And the other problem is it runs away from its premise about halfway through the episode. And also its premise I've seen done better in an episode of The Vampire Dies in No Time and an episode of The Disastrous Life of Psyche K.
Playing
This is
shitty games.
You
playing
can run
shitty
away from your
games.
premise really early on, but like what was the one with that it seemed to be about like a post-apocalypse where they're living in like a giant mech that drives around, but it's actually about tiny cute robots. What was the name of that one?
Decadence.
Decadence. Again, that like at the very end, you're like, hey, wait a second, and it's like, yeah, the show is about those. Don't fucking worry
Yeah.
about the fucking humans. They're basically a video game that these guys play. Like running away from the premise can be good, but yeah, it's not.
It opens with him playing a shitty game. Then he goes to his video game shop where he buys his shitty video games from while he's being spied on by the girl who fancies him. And the owner says, well, why don't you take a break from shitty games and play this AAA title that's just been released? Shangri-La Frontier, the name of the show. And then the premise of the show shifts to, I can be the best player at this game because I can use all the skills I've developed by playing all these shitty games. That's it. That's the premise of the show.
Okay.
But the animation is pretty hot.
Yeah.
They really are just trying to everything they can for things. This isn't like this other fucking MMO games you've MMO game anime you've seen before. No. If you play shitty ones, no, that's at the last leader.
But he's gonna play the hot one anyway. But I don't think they get trapped in it. So maybe that's coming later.
Yeah. Once you get on that subscription model, though, you're fucked.
It's another one of these based on a novel, but the novel has never been released in print. It's just one of these web novels.
Okay, I was going to say, is the novel light? But
it's had a manga based on it, which I think is probably where the visuals come from for the anime.
That's definitely a better way to adapt it because you have that to pull from as a storyboard. Yeah.
I suppose this is doing things in there. There was one that was just like, it's one of these things. He's playing like a virtual reality MMO. He's trying to like keep a low profile. It was literally him to sim like, doing the stuff like, I'm going to go out and chop wood. And he just does like really banal stuff, and it's a half hour of content to get out of that. It somehow got made into a television series now.
I've seen people liking MF Ghost and Overtake, your two motorsport shows of the week.
Now, how many for MF Ghost are this initial D? Like diehards?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And that counts if you're just here for I was here for the memes like multi-track drifting and Eurobeat and the Godfoot, and it's like and it's like shit like that. But yeah. But you still had to like be aware of it enough to get into it that much. So you're initial D fan, sorry.
And I've seen people say Niggy and Dali is funny, so I might check that out.
It's a funny kind of weird. It's just like I'm not sure if this is the premise going on or do you kind of change it around because it's from two twins posing as like twins posing as like the one child and conning this old couple, but it must be like it's kind of be like a very kind of horror thriller type of thing. It's kind of a comedy as well.
Yes, that's why I'm curious. So I probably will check that out. I will probably check Bullbuster out. That's Bull Buster.
They knew what they were doing. If I'm in the mood for a film, I'll look at that Friar End Beyond Journey's End.
Yes,
I suppose you could just pass it out because imagine this because there'd probably be like break off points. Obvious.
It's split into 4 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is episodes 1 to 4 essentially, all airing on the same week.
There was another one I was just like curious about, which is what's it now? 16-bit Sensation. It's just like it's one of those like have cute girls doing things. But the year is 1992, and they're making like PC Engine games or something like that. It's like okay, that could be like a little kind of fun to look through if I get time for it.
Yeah, so I might love it, or I'll go, that was wrong. I was Okay, yeah, the other things I'd got marked down, I think I'd marked down Kamiyarabi God.app just because it was an original thing, not based on anything.
It's additional like things seem to be fun. This is like that other thing where it's got different designs to it now.
And Mercury Men, but I don't think anybody's licensed that. So my streak of not being able to watch a translated Mercury Man anime will continue by the looks of it.
Yeah.
That's a bunch. I don't mind because like a bunch of people will probably try and go like, nah. So
Yeah, I mean,
happens.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I might like to get two because we got, well, because I've only got two ongoing things to worry about, haven't I? Dark Gathering, Helk, and this, and I guess they've got the other Conan one, but that doesn't count. That's just occasional.
That's on and off. Yeah, yeah.
So I've got Undead Unluck for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the 7th is the Saturday, so that won't count for our purposes.
That'll be the week after. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, the opening to Spy Family season 2 is already probably the best anime of the season.
Oh my goodness, they're just like front loading this right there, and it's never nothing in there. I know, and it's going to be a very pretty fun quality cartoon. It'll be pretty all right, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good as that one opening would suggest. It's just.
I've seen people questioning whether like one of the pillars of modern shonen is Spy Family. I'm like, it fucking is. What are you talking about? Like, things are trying to rip it off so fucking hard right now. That shows you that it's doing well.
And it kind of adapt to like you kind of take on that Yuasa style as well, because like the first fucking walk cycle you see, oh that's him. It's this fucking just like the fucking it's like oh that's him. That's definitely him. If you didn't know it was him, that's the fucking sign right out the gate.
Yeah, the front on keep on trucking. Yeah, that's US straight out. Yeah, so that's not until the next week. And then what's the other thing I've got green? Oh, Dr. Stone, New World. But I think that's even further away. That's October 12th.
Yeah, that is further into it.
Okay. So I suspect it'll settle down to Dr. Stone, Spy Family, Undead Unluck, the two things I'm already watching, and then Pluto when it starts.
But in the meantime, we're going to try the mix platter and see if any of it has anything to it, basically.
Yeah.
Pluto like hour-long episodes as well.
Yeah, they kind of be like 50 odd minutes of that, but that's going to be probably better overall because it's finished, and it means you can probably do like a volume per installment, and then it just gets it all taken care of nice and neatly.
They put the new trailer out for that this week, and
okay.
Now I want to leave it out because I know it's something I'm going to the second point. Like,
have you read the comic? Have you read Pluto comic?
I was seeing if I had it on the shelf in front of me. I have it in the shelf in the room. Yes, I have read the comic.
If you didn't, you would have gotten that end of it off of me, at least. Looking at it right now. And now I'm thinking as well, it's like, there's going to be some sad shit in there. It's when China Music finds a fucking Aibo robot dog on the street, and that just tears me to shreds inside. I'm going to get that one fully animated and voiced and scored. It's just, oh, man.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how I'll find it in animation because it's something I kind of go back to. Like I'm a fan of his work, but like a lot of the stuff like Monster, it's very hard to watch again because it's like a really big long thing, whether you're watching it or reading it. Whereas Pluto, it being kind of limited like that means I can go back to it more often. So yeah, hopefully it'll be similar in this regard that those big chunks of mini films, I guess, will work quite well for it. Yeah,
it's 8 episodes, so they're adapting a volume per episode.
Yeah, I guess. So.
Okay, yeah. That's good.
So, and if they're an hour long, that means they'll be pretty well paced.
Yes, yeah, because from reading it, that's about right for.
Because that was my problem I always had with the monster anime. Is I'd read had I finished reading the comic? I'd read enough of the comic that the pacing seemed slow when I watched the anime.
Yeah, see, I watched it when it was all out, so I could watch as much of it as I felt like. But yeah, watching it week to week would really slow it down.
Yeah, like God is a big fan of this sort of kind of stealth resurgence of the OVA with fun. It's going to be as long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Spriggan did it, and it was better for it, and it will be much the same, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure. So plenty to watch next week, and even more to watch in the future. But Niall, what did you think about the last episode of Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 5 or Series of 5?
it had me going for a minute because I thought like very like rapidly like into the telephone and saying, well, that's pretty convenient. Just like, wrapping this up with a tight little bow, like just like that. But with there was some toughy call in there for saying she's just gonna be brave and just jump off the fucking edge and onto the table and get it the rest of the way down, and it worked. And that's just the thing that fucking I keep getting from the mom mixed up. The good one of the old men, Fukuzawa. He's Fukuzawa.
Yes,
There's just a moment I've been waiting for. He fucking gets up in the front. I knew he would do that, and he had a little exchange, and it becomes like like a lot about them as well. And that's where that's kind of bit of fun. So we're just gonna go into this like kind of pocket dimension, or this kind of referee we're sharing together right now. And this is why I did it, man. I had to do it like one. It's just like there was no way around this, and maybe that's the best one to do it because you have this ideal of justice or what freedom and equality is. But I've been out there and I've seen how it's not so easy to kind of do. Someone's got to make the hard decision to kind of do it. So this is a hard choice you got to make for you right now. Either I die or the world dies. What's it going to be? What I'm saying. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I'll do it then. Because I believed in them. Because I was there with them, man.
It's interesting that it becomes like a thing about those two characters, because basically a lot of what we've seen of those two characters is from the other characters they kind of gathered around them. But yeah, this is very much like a personal piece about their relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fucking won. Like, he won the win, but he kind of just loses as well. Except for saying, "Well, now you're the one order. Now you are the one who's responsible now for the fucking like the safety of the world because I can't do it, or I'm the one who couldn't do it." It's just like you can't fucking put that on me, man. You can't put that on me. You should have come with me then when I asked you to, man. You should have come with me because it could have been different. It might need to have happened at all if you just came with me that time for and saying, but no, it can't do it. It's like this is the one last thing he can't fucking have reason his way out of this one not fun. He's been left with this time. He's got to fucking make up of what it is.
His scream as he attempts to smash the radio into the ground.
And he can't.
I was getting very Keanu Reeves going like shooting into the air. It's just like I can't do it, man. I can't fucking.
It's just like if he's this is fun in Yokohama, this is his beat now. This is kind of like the focal point for all these kind of world crises, but it's only Yokohama. It's a fun big world out there, and
it's a very small pocket of world he's trying to protect. But now it's like his job is the whole fucking thing. Yeah.
It's and now it's not as simple as you thought now, is it? And maybe in the back of his mind, I'm pretty sure I did the right thing. I had to part ways with my fun best friend since I was a child, but I was right, but I was thinking maybe I fucking wasn't. No, maybe he was fucking right. Maybe he had the fucking balls, he had the guts to go out and fucking make those hard decisions for everybody else. And then speaking of having some of guys having their fucking entire worldview destroyed, this fucking Dazai and Dostoevsky fun saying, how's it going? Yeah, fun. This. You had it all planned out, didn't you? But you didn't think, fun, even with your kind of brutal methods or your kind of fun, fast and dirty means, I have my intricate plans, and it's fun wheels within wheels. For us with simple stuff, people can wear disguises in this world, It's like, you never even thought for a minute that this could have been the case, and that's a fun saying, you could have been wearing color connets and fun, plastic fucking vampire Halloween teeth, and you could have been playing you all along. Because you don't trust nobody, but I, trust people who can't do what I can't.
Dazai manipulates people all the fucking time, much like Dostoevsky. But he also trusts them, and he knows that they have their own shit because he won because A, a frenemy of his showed up in disguise as a vampire, and B, a little girl jumped off the tower of a fucking airport that has nothing to do with him. It's just like two random fucking things happen. It's like, yep, that caused me to win. That means I win. That's how it works.
You also trusted in a way Dostoevsky to behave as he would do for one saying, I trusted you to do what you're going to do because, that's it, man. When the fox asked the scorpion why you did that, it's in my nature. Well, that's how it is. And then fucking Father, well, Lord, why have you forsaken me as he gets immolated in the helicopter?
Yeah.
And he only found the arm.
Killed, I think.
He only found the arm, so it's like I'm never gonna be dead certain. Is he truly gone?
I was saying last week that I think the arm's there so that when he brings Sigma back by using his power to negate,
Cancel power. Yeah.
the cancel power to bring Sigma out of his coma. Sigma explicitly said, "I can use my power on corpses." So they
So
could
they'll
possibly
jam Dostoevsky's hand on the end of a fucking
yes.
of a knife, much
Yeah.
like what they did with with your man, the King of Vampires, and it's just like now we got a knife that can use Dostoevsky's power.
Yeah. Of course, it's
something.
possible that that's a bad idea, and that's why 2 hours later everything's gone to hell.
Yeah.
I wonder what this does.
You've saved the world for 2 hours. Congratulations.
Looks
Very
like
good.
we're back at this again, Akutagawa. I can same to you, damn were-tiger. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yep. Yeah, we gotta fight
We
fucking this
gotta
apparition.
jump. Yeah,
This
yeah.
apparition of fucking literature and stuff, or whatever it is, that's appeared in the sky.
Like we were
It seems to
saying
be
it last week.
Fukuchi's body because
Hmm.
it's got his scar on his chin.
Yeah. So if you can control him, you get an access to every controlling thing. But we were saying it last week. Like I love the idea that it's such a neatly wrapped up thing that's very satisfying. And go like, we could do more though, huh? You want to see how this happened? You know, it manages to have its cake and eat it at the same time. It was like sequel though, and satisfying ending in itself.
It wraps the things up, but it still just rips the guts out of you. In so many other regards, it's like one saying, "Well, I guess today is saved, but I think nothing like as the comics say, nothing will ever be the same." It's just like there is this fucking like pyrrhic quality to it. The fun. The victory was achieved for the fun what costs. Like technically, like the villains' plan succeeded. But it was just like trying to revert a much worse like atrocity, like it's trying to revert World War III for crap's sake.
Yeah,
and just teasing even more. It's like, when are we going to see those 18th, 19th century, early 20th century European authors show up? Because we're told in this season they're the most powerful ones, and yet they've not really played any part.
Fucking
Agatha
Jules
Christie's
Verne
the
rolls
only-
up with fucking a giant robot or whatever. It's gonna be fucking class.
Because I think Agatha Christie's the only one who's had a naming yet of European authors. So
Well, like I think Kafka Asugiri is like kind of just dropping those things in there as well, because like fucking oh my god, I've forgotten his fucking name. He's even more famous than like any of his other Japanese authors. He's kind of like the main dude.
the
Natsume.
I'm a cat guy. Yes.
Oh yeah. You're quite right.
But like haven't written him like or into the comic or into this yet. But I'm gonna, and it's gonna be pretty cool when they get there. So you're at least on the hook for until that character appears.
I mean, like, I'm still annoyed that apparently James Joyce got killed without me fucking noticing. So that's kind of sucky. But yeah, what are you gonna
do? Yeah, maybe Yates will like turn up somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
There's like no Western Europe and Cats Ireland. We got from like a body of literature there. But we got Bram Stoker in there, so we got fun in the door already. We're doing all right.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think the idea is that because they're the most translated, that's why they're the most powerful.
Basically, culturally, they influence like both American writing and Japanese writing because they were printed and shipped off and translated and all that stuff, jazz. But that means that they're in this universe, their power level is high.
Yes.
So it's like a curse or a devil, The more you believe in it, the more power you lend to it.
But in terms of translation and being printed, yeah.
Yeah, but my guess is that it's probably going to go further into the items that have inherited abilities. I suspect that might be what's going on.
See, one of the things I was thinking with the inherited stuff is you could take ancient fucking things like the Epic of Gilgamesh, like, which is an old story, so old we don't even know who fucking wrote it. That would have been presumably a verbally passed down story before it was written down, and you can take those old legends and then they can become artifacts as they are in this. Like
surely the book itself is kind of something like that. It's like the book is like just like the fucking Gutenberg put his fucking soul into this thing or something like that, and that lets it fucking get out there. It's some kind of like pivotal like reverent object like that. That's the magic of books, isn't it? Knowledge is power. in this case, you know, isn't to correlate directly with knowledge's power. So often it's not always like and I like this about Boomer Street as well. It's not always like, you know, the guy with the raddest, most like insane power that wins. It's often the guy who thought the most ahead and was just the most wily. Sort of fun. Rampo hasn't got any powers. No, he thinks he does, or at least he thinks that he does. But it doesn't matter because he's just got he's figured out all the angles.
Eventually, it's going to come down to we're going to have a child who can turn into a tiger. I'm going to throw it at a guy. That's fine because that'll look really cool. But the most interesting parts are going to be the really smarts boys being like, I outsmarted, you're outsmarting me, outsmarting you, outsmarting me. Yeah.
Put a
Well,
mirror in front of the truck.
There is the metafictional joke of Rampo says he hasn't got any powers, but he's constantly using Poe's power.
Yeah. Is that the thing of like, you're just ripping off fucking Edgar Allan Poe. And yet in this fucking thing, Edgar Allan Poe is like fucking going like, oh, you're so great. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying his cartoons are realistic.
But yeah, it's great. I suspect there's going to be a very long wait for whatever's next because they've either got to write a whole lot of comic or they've got to come up with an anime original ending. Of course, we don't know that this wasn't an anime original ending because this stuff does not exist in a comic until I think perhaps this week.
Later this month.
Yeah. This chapter in the comic has not fucking happened yet.
Well, once again, like I've like plenty of because there was just too much there. Just like was really just clicking in with the general philosophies of everything in there. But saying here's my fucking my scripts for this thing. It hasn't been like drawn yet, but we're gonna get to that. And it wouldn't end about 2 hours later. Everything has been blown up thing unless they got a good reason for how it arrived at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously the previous episodes they must have been made with plenty of lead time because unlike other shows, they can get their episodes out.
They get their episodes out consistently and good and ahead of the fucking manga. So yeah,
yes.
like I think you said it, Brian, that the ending we might see might be the anime exclusive ending, but might also be just a film that they do eventually, which would be grand. Like if it's the ending for the show that is a film that is different, it's going to be different than the manga. That's okay. Yeah. As long as we don't get like a season of light novels that I just have to fucking skip. Like, that'd be less ideal.
The last film, it was just it was
just a compilation.
No. It was a whole like kind of thing. Like it was kind of inconsequential, but it was just like again 17% like relevant to new photos now is just kind of bringing. Here's like Dostoevsky and kind of bringing him so kind of because you kind of get dropped straight in with him when he appears in the TV show proper. And say no, he was kind of on silent. He was kind of in that film. But just kind of, here's an incident, it's resolved, and it's fine. There's no bearing on the rest of the thing. But you're going to bring in things. Kind of, I like the One Piece films there where they're referring to the canon and I'm trying to bring it in a bit more. It's like, oh, okay. So it could be like have this film, this hypothetical film would be like, yeah, there's like elements here that are going to like be touched upon. I'm going to take in to remind you of things that will be important from earlier in the story that we mentioned into down the line. It could be like a self-contained little incident. So who knows? It could be like a film between us actually getting to seeing that angel at the airport blowing things up. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah. Okay. So it was in fact as we're recording October the 4th. That's when the latest chapter came out. And they've got the first page on the wiki, and it is indeed Aya leaping off the top of the building onto the table. So
the chapter where the start of this episode has come out today. Good. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, people who are afraid of spoilers got their comic spoiled by watching the cartoon. I think that's it for today. We'll have plenty more to talk about next week.
We will.
Ta-da for now.
Bon nuit.